Hello, Lou Hamilton from Audible Elegance here in Cincinnati, Ohio. We are located a couple doors north of the original Montgomery Inn, across the street from Montgomery Cyclery. And we do work on Facebook and Instagram and X. I also write a monthly blog, which I'm a little behind on that because I'm taking care of my wife's health. And today I thought I would talk about something we're in the middle of, which is lightning season. And it's not uncommon for us every summer to replace 2 or 3 audio systems because of lightning. And I've talked about how to prevent lightning from getting to your system. That's another video, so go look it up. But I want to talk about another aspect of it, which is your equipment properly insured? And a lot of policies out there for homeowners insurance preclude acts of God. And the other thing they preclude is things of value that are not declared to be insured. And so you have to look at your insurance policy to see whether insuring your equipment, particularly if it's expensive gear, needs a separate rider, a separate premium to be paid to insure that. And the acts of God usually is not excluded by lightning. Acts of God can be things where trees, limbs fall down and they rip the wires off your house. And the act of the tree limb falling is considered an act of God, as opposed to an insurable homeowner's event. So watch out for that, or even ask your agent about that. And then that one came up for us in a really funny way where our installation van was out on site. A huge tree limb came down and smashed the hood of our installation van. And the homeowner's insurance policy wouldn't cover it because it was considered an act of God. So we actually had to cover it under our own automotive insurance because we had it covered that way. So watch out for the act of God thing. Typically, floods, those are usually excluded unless you got floodplain insurance. Watch out if your system is in the basement, if you have backing up water. We've had it a few years ago. We actually were given about 1,000 albums that were all in boxes in the basement, and somebody unplugged the sump pump. So we had all these records come in these sticky jackets. They were still sopping wet, and we had a record cleaner, so that night the entire floor of the store was covered with albums we had cleaned. And we had to replace all the jackets. So you got to watch out for the sump pump if you got one of those, and whether that's insurable or not. Now, if your equipment is hit by lightning, we're going to take it a couple steps further. And we recently had someone who had major pieces of equipment struck by lightning, and he took it to a repair shop that charged out the yin yang, he was told how much it was going to cost to repair it, and we're talking very expensive equipment. And so he abandoned the equipment. The sad thing was he didn't come to us and say, this is what's happened, because more than likely his homeowner insurance would have covered either the repair or the replacement of that equipment. And really, when you're dealing with equipment that has been damaged by lightning, you really want to go for replacement, because very, very few service centers, and I just talked to a chap out of Tennessee who's actually getting out of doing component level repair. When you talk about things that are very old, so we're talking about restoration equipment and or lightning struck, they will not guarantee the durability of the set. And the reason being is that while they can replace or repair what is clearly damaged parts, one of the things they cannot guarantee is whether the other parts have been stressed or fatigued or at the end of their own life expectancy too. So they may replace a series of transistors, this and that, but then other transistors or other parts will fail. And it's not because their work was defective, it was because the product is either damaged or at the end of its life cycle, and that's just the way it is. So I don't know of any repair shop that will guarantee lightning struck equipment. We once had a Bryson amplifier that took an enormous shot, and amazingly blew every resistor inside of it in half. And once Bryson got it, they said, you know, we're going nowhere with this. You got to buy a new one. You know, we're not even going to try to fix this thing. So be very careful about even getting, equipment that has been struck, because if you can get it replaced, that's really the route you want to go. This doesn't help you much when you're talking about older equipment where the models have changed, or some of the vintage equipment that are very near and dear to your heart. That one is you're going to have to negotiate with your agent or the representative. But first and foremost, make absolutely sure that what you have is in fact covered under your homeowner's policy. And hopefully nobody goes through the nightmare of losing stuff in a storm, but it does happen. So there we are. Take a look at your paperwork and go from there.